Hello, everybody. Let's just see if something is prompting me to see whether there are some people there. Everything comes with a slight delay here, so hopefully this is all going to work. Let's just see. Now I can see people. This is great. Hello, a very good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Great seeing you. Now, today is really interesting for me because I forgot to play the introduction. So it's without an introduction today. I hope you are okay with that. Let's just see who is here from San Francisco. Hi, North California, from London, from Maryland, Wigan, North England. It's just fabulous having you all here. So thank you so much. Thank you also for the incredible feedback from last week's session. Thank you for sending emails, for going into all the details of the experiences you had. It makes it all the more worthwhile for me just knowing how all this is really connecting us and how helpful some of these exercises, well, hopefully most of these exercises really are. So lots and lots of people saying hello. Hi, Yasmin. How beautiful you're in Italy. That's wonderful. From northern Germany, from Leicester. It's just great having you all here. And quite a people I can see from the United States here, so that is brilliant. Let me just start with a few what's the word? If you in church, there's a word, not proclamations, something like that. When people basically just are told about what's happening in their community. So there are a few things that are happening, and I just wanted to let you know. Hi, Ryan, my wonderful videographer. He is here as well. That is fabulous. So thank you so much for all being here. Oh, how embarrassing. Now that Ryan is on there, I forgot to play the introduction. Anyway, maybe we can add it later. Now, I'm here live from Los Angeles, where I have been for the past 5 weeks. Announcements, that's the word. And thank you, Sean. And that's been a really interesting time. Once more, it was interesting to get to know Americans better. And that's important because America is a very, very powerful country. And I strongly believe that with its incredible influence, it can be the country to change the course of the world. But in order to do that, there needs to be an internal healing process. And what I have learned here is, putting it mildly, that this is not currently happening everywhere. There is a lot of divide, a lot of anger. But then, of course, it is in the entire world. But what I find so interesting is that meeting more and more people here, it's an entire country of immigrants. And so people have very, very different, to this day, very different backgrounds and very different traditions. And this is quite fascinating. Of course, we have that in other countries as well. In England, we've got people from all over the world. But somehow the differences and the identification with the individual backgrounds seems to me particularly strong in the United States. So in a way, my conclusion is, if this can be healed and overcome, it can be a true example for the world. So I'm here for a while. And the last few weeks have been very interesting for me, learning, getting acclimatized a little bit. and meeting people and just kind of understanding different approaches to life, also different approaches to spirituality. Um, and now that I've decided not to stay here, but to move on and spend the last 4 weeks of my trip, the entire month of May in New York City, the day after I made the decision, I was offered to run 2 workshops here in Los Angeles. So that's really, really interesting. So something seems to be moving, and my understanding is that I am supposed to go to New York City, which wasn't planned at all. I thought I would spend the entire 3 months here. So now I'm going to New York City, and am just as open as I was coming here, really not knowing what's going to happen. But I will be there, and I know that quite a few people are living, are in the New York City or New York region, who listen to the show and who have done courses with me and who are very much into Reiki, into spirituality. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting together. Whether it's a book signing, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a talk, I am not sure at present, but I'm absolutely certain it's going to happen. And if you happen to be in that region and happen to have an idea what we could do, where we could meet, what we could pull off together, then please get in touch. But if you are in Southern California, or, well, are happy to travel here, there are 2 events coming up over the next 2 weeks. The first is on Saturday, the 22nd, I think. Let me just double check if that is correct. 22nd is a Saturday. Yes. So on Saturday, the 22nd, at a beautiful yoga studio, I think it's called Peace Yoga Gallery in downtown LA. I'm running a full day workshop, Reiki for Inner Peace. And this workshop is designed for everybody. It includes an attunement, so people who have not learned Reiki can join and they can do the exercises. But it's also for established Reiki practitioners and Reiki masters or Reiki teachers, because it is not primarily traditional Reiki. It goes more into an inner journey of letting Reiki help us to find inner peace, to discover the root cause for the disturbance and the inner turmoil we so often experience in our lives, and to then allow this peace to settle in. It will include making peace with our past, making peace with our present situation, and going more peacefully into the future. Making peace with other people around us, and really understanding what's happening in our lives and why so often we do not feel peace. Ultimately, peace is love. So it's a one-day journey of allowing Reiki to help us to find more inner peace. And the following week, on Wednesday, the 26th, I'll be offering an evening workshop, 2 hours, I think 7:30 to 9:30 at the same place. And this is a past life regression workshop where we will do a number of exercises to open up and trusting more our intuition. And then once we are open, with the help of Reiki, with a view of some exercises, we'll go into a very deep past life regression, either to one lifetime or to several lifetimes. And I've now done that for the past 10 years, running workshops like this, and it really, really works. It's just fascinating to experience, not just to know or to realize, but to really experience that we have already been here a number of times. And it may be about what we learn from those lifetimes, but it may also be about the fact that we can change this life now, because we are in power. We can learn from these times and we can stop repeating patterns. We are so powerful. We can really engage and assume our own innate power again and let go of the karmic connections to the past and step into a new self. So it's going to be a really, really powerful workshop here. And I am planning to offer similar workshops in New York City as well. And of course, when I'm back in London, I'll be back in London in summer, most definitely in June. So I am looking at options at the moment, offering workshops in June or July. And I will be in London, of course, in September for the Reiki Master course. So if you are considering becoming a Reiki master, whether it is because you really want to share, bring more Reiki into the world and teach Reiki to others, or whether it is primarily for yourself to just learn everything that can be learned about Reiki, to understand the depth and intricacies of Reiki from the teaching perspective, then this is the course. It's not just about teaching others, but the more we look from a teaching perspective, the more we look through the lens of questions that we may get about Reiki, the more we understand the system. It's a 5-day course which can be taken residentially. You can stay at the venue or you can commute every day. But this is what's uh, coming up in London, and of course, so many are there from London. There are Reiki 2 courses. We just got a new date for the next Reiki 2 course, which is the first weekend in July. There are regular workshops and courses again in May. There is a professional Reiki course with all the legal requirements and administrative requirements and so on, practical, about becoming a professional Reiki practitioner. So there's a lot going on both in America and in London. And of course, many of the courses in London are run by my wonderful colleague Rupert Fawcett. So we are together running the Reiki Science Academy wherever the courses are happening. But thank you so much for being here today. And there are so many. And it's a really interesting question. Today's topic, meet your soul. And this was channeled. It didn't occur to me to call something meet your soul. It actually felt a bit odd. And I was wondering how to rephrase it, but it was made very clear that this is what the topic should be. So it's about meeting something as if we are meeting something new. And of course, we are not, because we are, well, getting in contact again or realizing the core of ourselves. Because that, of course, is the idea behind the word soul, the core of our being. But sometimes when we do these things, we feel, well, it's almost as if we are meeting ourselves in a new light. We are meeting ourselves for the first time. And the soul is a very, well, it's an often used word in many contexts, in spiritual contexts, in religious contexts, in everyday contexts, something like soulmate. So we feel there is a deeper connection with somebody. Or something, we mention something has a lot of soul. So there is a lot, it has got a lot of heart, a lot of depth. But what really is the soul? The soul, by definition, goes on after our death. So after leaving the physical body. In other words, the soul is something non-physical. So it is energy, it's higher vibrational energy. But what does it mean to that this is energy? What is energy really? Ultimately, what was made clear when I was preparing for this topic was that we still often think of the soul as an entity, as the essence of our own entity as somewhere in a physical location, as ourselves somehow, but often as either, well, not necessarily physical, but something energetically, so like an energetic core. I used to think of it in a way of almost having a shape. And we can sometimes see the spirit in a shape. So our essence, our energetic essence, we may feel or sense as a shape. So when we look at our aura, we see this kind of big energy field around us and going through us. So we may say that is our energetic essence, but there are different layers, and some are connected with our physical being and our physical incarnation, and some hold kind of more information. But this is still kind of the energetic kind of being going on. Ultimately, the soul is not really physical or even energetic anymore. It is our connection to eternity, to the divine, to the source, to whatever we may want to call it. So, our soul really ultimately is the awareness that we are connected to everything and we are part of that. Our soul ultimately is consciousness. And this is something that I found very, very interesting to discover. So when we get to our soul, we get to individual consciousness that is in our individual being. I am Torsten, and I'm aware that I'm Torsten. I'm aware I'm connected. This kind of consciousness. But then going further, when we leave our body, it is the consciousness that holds all the information about our previous incarnations. So it is the summary of our individual incarnations. And this is only looking at it in one direction. It's very difficult to explain this kind of in three-dimensional terms. When we look in the other direction, we feel it is primarily about the connection to everything. So there are all these individual pockets of consciousness or individual souls holding this individual information. But then when we go beyond this egoic idea and realize who we really are and connect with everything, we are going into the collective consciousness. And we realize that all our experience and awareness is part of a bigger picture. And we go into the awareness that this is basically the essence of everything. So when we connect with our soul, we are connecting with the entire universe. And we go into the deeper understanding of who we are, what we can be as individual beings, and how we are always connected to the bigger picture, to everything. And I did a short exercise earlier just to check out whether this works, and it did work for me. So I find that Reiki, or simply our intention, can take us to identifying with our soul, to connecting, to realigning, to meeting our soul. And when we do that, all we need to do is listen. Listen what our soul has to say. And this is what I would like to do together now for a moment. Listening to our soul. So when you're ready, I would just ask you to bring your hands together for a moment and connect to Reiki. And then just set your intention or just ask Reiki to help you connect with your soul. Just ask Reiki to help you feel and align with your soul. And in this presence, just listen or just experience. If you have questions about your life, then just ask. And when you're ready, you can slowly come back into the here and now. This is a form of meditation. It's ultimately where any meditation should lead to discover this deeper level of ourselves. And this level is, of course, in everybody. So the experience we just had can be had by anybody. And sometimes when we struggle with other people, it may help to remind ourselves that they are a soul in a body. What I find interesting is that working on my last book, it became clearer and clearer that this idea of soul, or ultimately of consciousness, is not something that we just find in human beings or in animals. In every plant, in every rock, in everything, in every single thing is consciousness. So one could argue that every stone, every rock, every tree has a soul. And once we then start to listen to that, to connect, I find we can make the most extraordinary discoveries. And this is very much, and this is why I'm sharing it with real excitement, is very much a journey I am on at present, feeling these connections and seeking to learn from them. Because the worldview of a palm tree outside is, or may be, a very different view than the view I've had so far. So it's just fascinating to understand that consciousness is in everything, that a soul is in everything. When you struggle finding or redoing this exercise at some stage, connecting with your soul, I find that another way of connecting is simply through the heart. Just placing your hands on your heart. It's a bit, need to rise up a little bit. Just place your hands on your heart or your heart chakra and just set your intention to connect with your true self. This is another way of connecting with your soul. This is really what I wanted to bring across today. It's just an exercise which I feel can be very, very powerful, especially as a reminder that there is just so much more to us. We are capable of just so much more than we often think. So if you are struggling with something at the moment, with a relationship, with the meaning of life, with a project, whatever it is, connect to your soul and ask just to align, just be in this presence, and do that every day. And just allow this to take over, and you will feel so much more powerful, so much more grounded and connected, that things will just flow. Energy is very much about flow, and problems are very much about stagnation. And again, Reiki is all about clearing blockages and aligning and letting the energy flow more freely. And once we're in the flow, everything can happen. Indeed, this is coming back to my introduction, very much what I'm experiencing in California at the moment. There were quite a few times when I didn't feel very much in the flow. And then suddenly I realized the topic of my new book, and there's a new book coming, which I'm working on right now. And I realized what I'm supposed to work on, and things are falling into place. So once we hit a wall, once we don't quite know what to do next and where life is taking us, the more we align, the more we ask for guidance, the more we'll find our ways. And often we need to walk these ways together. And I'm just so grateful for the people I've met here, I've found here, who are helping me to come forward, to move forward and to learn more, even though I often have to overcome my initial hesitations and learn to be more open. But that's all a very, very interesting journey. So thank you for doing this together, for walking this path together, and as a community, allowing Reiki to help us. That's the whole idea behind the Reiki revolution, to bring more of this awareness into the world. And of course, the more we are grouping together, the more powerful it all gets. And this can be nowhere experienced as well as in a Reiki share. So this is what I would like to invite you to join in now, to send and receive Reiki. So once more, when you're ready, just bring your hands together and connect to Reiki. If you've learned the connection, or often called distance symbol, then you can just use this symbol now, draw it in the air, or otherwise just use your intention to connect with everybody on this Reiki share. Everybody who is watching live right now, and everybody who is joining at a replay at a later stage. And then just relax. Allow Reiki to flow through you, to connect you with everyone, and help them. At the same time, receiving Reiki through everybody. You may just want to listen inside from time to time and just sense how you feel. And then you can slowly come back into the here and now. When you're ready, just bring your hands together once more, thank Reiki, and then gently open your eyes again. Thank you again for joining. This makes it so powerful, and it can be felt by everybody. I get so many comments about how powerful these Reiki shares are. And if you want to join longer, just do a replay again and continue joining the Reiki share. And I'm just looking at the comments. Bella, lovely meeting you in California, in LA. When was it? 2 weeks ago for the book signing. I will send out the details of this center and the yoga center and the exact times of the workshops over the next few days. We're just finalizing everything tomorrow, and then I will send it out. And it's just so wonderful to meet in person. So if you can make it here in LA, if you can make it to an event in New York City, or if you are happy to invite me at some stage so that I can just travel to where you are and we can pull up an event there and do something together, that'd be absolutely amazing. And yes, I will be doing past life workshops in London again as soon as I'm back. The problem is we need a really quiet room for that. So at the normal center, it's a bit busy during the summer. So we will, but we will definitely do something there. And let's really use the momentum we are having. And there's a lot of momentum going on, and really go deeper. Learn more about ourselves, look more after ourselves, and allow ourselves to be these amazing spiritual beings that we truly are, so that we can connect with each other, with everybody in a deeper, in a more loving, more meaningful way. And this was the idea behind the book about the Reiki Revolution, There Is a Way. So I hope you find the exercises in there helpful as well. It's just looking at our true self from so many angles and decluttering ourselves, letting go of the anger, the sadness, the frustration, the limitations that we so often feel, and really step into the power of these amazing beings that we are. So once more, thank you so very, very much for joining. Have a wonderful evening, wonderful rest of the day, wherever you are in the world, and see you next week. Well, I could have prepared that. Now I need to find the banner again. Let me just see. And then I can at least properly finish the show and put the right screen on there. So thank you. Bye-bye.